Hi everyone, I'm Shauna Randolph, Edmonton Humane Society spokesperson, and welcome to our November-December 2012 Edmonton Humane Society podcast show, coming to you thanks to our sponsor, Fuse Logic TV. We are bringing you this show from our beautiful shelter located in Northwest Edmonton, and we have a very packed half an hour for you coming up in this month's show. Meet Marco the dog, who came to us in horrible shape with mats all over his body, and he was blind, but there is quite a happy ending to share with you. Also coming up, helping our shelter animals during the holiday season. We have so many great ideas to pass along, as well as some great gift ideas for humans on your list that also benefit our shelter animals at the same time. We'll explain. But first, to our hot topic of the month, and this is something that sadly not enough people think about: safety of pets during cold weather. It's quite common for our animal protection officers to be on calls this time of year to investigate concerns about pets without proper shelter in the winter. This interview we're about to play is crucial in order to learn about the misconceptions and how to keep your pet safe. This is a very busy time of year for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that the temperatures have dropped, we're starting to get a lot more calls about animals outside.
And what really are the calls that you get?
Right now it's any type of animal really, mainly dogs and cats, but that they're being left outside without adequate shelter, and that's the key part. They don't have something adequate for them.
What is adequate then?
It depends on each animal. It's hard. You can't give a general explanation for what would be adequate. An adequate shelter for a husky is different than an adequate shelter, say, for a Jack Russell or a cat that's left outside. Adequate is specific to that animal, so depending on their breed, their health, anything like that, it needs to be an adequate shelter for them so that they can completely get out of the elements and stay warm.
I think one of the main misconceptions that you have is people thinking that the outdoor type dogs are okay without any proper shelter.
Absolutely. We get those calls all the time in the winter. You'll see a husky or a Malamute outside and a dog run just with, say, a tarp over a top. That's not an adequate shelter for that animal. They can't actually get off of the snow, and that's a big problem. Their feet are stuck on the snow, and the elements can still get to them from all sides of that pen.
So really what you do, you get a call, and in many cases it's a matter of just educating people. They don't mean to, right?
No, absolutely. They just don't know. They don't know what they need to do, and honestly, there's a lot of people that think because they have those northern breeds, they're okay outside in these temperatures. And they might be, as long as they have that adequate shelter and they're able to get off of that snow. That's the big thing. When your dogs are getting ice built up on their feet, and they can't get off of that snow, they're constantly lifting their legs, licking their feet. They can't get away from it.
Let's talk about the things that people do need to do. So we have to have the proper shelter. So we're talking about insulated.
Yep.
And not using a blanket as a base, right?
No, blankets, they freeze and they don't do any good for the animal. You want to have something like straw. Straw is a great insulator, and that way it can help to keep them warm. If they choose to bring some of it out of the shelter, that's fine, but at least give them that option. Stuff it as full as you can, and then they can burrow and nestle in there, and then they can keep themselves warm.
What about food and water dishes?
Food and water, you always want to make sure that you do provide them with whatever they need. So if they do need to have water outside, you need to make sure that it's not a metal dish. Using a heated dish that has a coil or something that's protecting the electrical cord as well, so that the animals can't chew on it and hurt themselves.
So it's a basic fact of using your common sense and thinking if it's too cold for you,
yep,
it's probably too cold for them unless you provide them with what they need.
Absolutely, and keeping an eye on them. I mean, if you choose to leave your animal outside, make sure that they're provided for adequately, and maybe even make sure that somebody can check in on them during the day. If you have a neighbor or friend or family member that you trust and the temperatures are kind of getting below, -10, make sure that there's somebody that can keep an eye on them for you while you're at work for the day.
Now, you also get calls from people, and upon digging and finding out more about their concern, people who've known about an animal maybe not having the right care in the backyard, whatever, for quite some time.
Yeah, that's one of the most frustrating things right now is a lot of the calls that we're getting, people are saying that these animals have been outside all year long. They're outside in the over 30-degree heat without access to a shelter, and it's just as important then when it's below -15, -30 here, whatever the temperatures are. You need to have that adequate shelter for them. Doesn't matter the temperatures.
So what do you say then to people that may be thinking, that just isn't right?
Please call sooner rather than later. If you're not sure, just call and we can let you know what the animal does need. Get a little bit more about the situation. We have an email complaint line. You can email pictures as well if you have questions about what you're seeing. But please call.
So it's the Edmonton Humane Society website, edmontonhumanesociety.com, or your phone number?
780-491-3517. Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And our website also has some valuable tips on making sure that pets are kept safe in the wintertime. That is, again, EdmontonHumaneSociety.com. Navigate to animal protection and weather guidelines. Now, I have a guest here. You can see this is all part of our monthly success story section. A visit from a talented dog who also has a very important role here at the Edmonton Humane Society as part of our education team, Heiser. And he's owned by our education coordinator. This is Kristen McKenna. Thank you for coming here today.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
Tell me about this little guy. When did you adopt him? What caught your attention?
I adopted Heiser January of last year, and I have a hard time walking through our puppy areas because I would like to adopt them all. But Heiser really caught my eye. I mean, first of all, he's adorable. How can you not love him? He was a 4-month-old puppy at the time, and he had come in as a stray from Spruce Grove. And so I fell in love with him. And I decided I did need a dog to help out with our programs in the education room, somebody that was going to be good with kids, somebody who was almost a lower energy level, but still really wanted to play all the time and was eager to learn. And I also do dog sports.
Yes, you do, and we have some pictures to share with everybody. This was taken recently at Dogapalooza in West Edmonton Mall. Tell me what's happening in here.
That is Crash, one of my other dogs, and myself, and we were doing a disc dog demo at the Edmonton, West Edmonton Mall.
So Heiser was there that day?
Heiser was there that day, and he actually was a part of the demonstration as well. He is a dog in training for disc dog. And so he showed the crowd how to do some of the basic fundamental exercises to how to get your own dog started.
And part of, how many do you have at home?
I have 6.
6. Lives outside of Edmonton?
I do live outside of Edmonton, yes.
So tell me, what kind of dog is Heiser?
Heiser, we believe, is a Sheltie, but without a DNA test, there's really no way to be certain. As he was a stray, we don't know much about his background.
Okay, so he entertains, but he also works very hard with you in the education department here.
He does, yes. He's here just about every day. And he's a really great ambassador, especially for people who could be scared of dogs. Because he's small, because he doesn't run up to you jumping and wagging and asking for too much attention, he's really easy to talk to.
Right, and
he's really easy for kids to interact with.
Any age group, right, from kids all the way up to when we have some seniors groups that come here for tours here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an absolute hit with the seniors. They love him. They all remember Lassie. And because he looks so much like Lassie, they cling on to him.
Just a very miniature version for sure. Kristen, is he going to be part of our winter carnival that's coming up?
You know what, I think Heiser might be making an appearance at our winter carnival, yes.
Okay, let's talk about what that is.
So winter carnival is an opportunity for parents to take their kids to the shelter on either December 1st, 2nd, 15th, or the 16th. They can leave them here from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We have crafts, we have games, we have interactions with our shelter animals, and it gives the parents an opportunity to do a little bit of shopping.
Yes, yes.
Or to take a break.
Or whichever, and the kids have a great time too.
Oh, they have a fantastic time. We're probably going to do some puppy bathing as well. That is an absolute hit with the kids. They get to name litters of puppies if they don't have names yet. So lots of fun things to do that weekend.
And it's filling up fast. What do people do to register?
They can go onto our website. The forms are on the website. They can drop into our shelter. The forms will be available at various locations around the city as well. I'll be dropping those off today.
Okay.
And
or call you directly for more information.
Yeah,
That's 780-491-3504 to reach Kristen directly, and then maybe, you know, Heiser might be heard in the background kind of barking.
Please don't let him be barking.
No, because you may not even hear him because he's pretty quiet.
He is pretty quiet. When he gets excited, he's quite loud. He's very Sheltie when he's excited, but for the most part, he is quite quiet.
Well, thank you very much, both of you. Very nice to see you adopted this adorable one from the Edmonton Humane Society.
Thank you very much.
And now we feature something that is very special to us. It was a special visit here to our shelter this past month. We have never had Edmonton's, Canada's First Lady here before, and that did happen. Mrs. Harper did that a few weeks ago on a mission to motivate others all across the country to adopt from animal shelters. She visited us, and she was very impressed with our shelter as she spent just a couple of hours here, and here's that for you now.
Mrs. Harper arrived on Thursday, greeted by our CEO, Stephanie McDonald, and EHS Board Chair, Dean Humane. The two took her and her entourage on a quick tour of the building since she only had an hour in her schedule for this. It didn't take her long to be wowed, especially when it came to the animals.
Being loving Labradors when I was a little girl, I just used to touch my dog's ears for like hours just because there's just something about yes.
He doesn't mind.
And also the few chinchillas in our care.
Look at that. Loves the scratch on the neck.
Yeah.
The Harper family has recently adopted a chinchilla in their neck of the woods out in Ottawa, adding to the 2 other adoptive pets they have, which are cats. They named their chinchilla Charlie. The Harpers have also fostered a couple hundred felines through the Ottawa Humane Society, truly dedicated to homeless animals and encouraging others to give them a second chance.
There's people all across our country. We've got some great shelters. We've got especially the Humane Societies. Look at some of the older animals, some of the animals with very sad stories, and there's some great animals that are a little older that would make great companion animals for people.
That's the message that Mrs. Harper spread to our local media when she had a brief moment to talk to them while visiting 2-year-old Joey here. The male cat came to us a few weeks ago with a severely infected wound on his left front leg, likely the result of an attack from another animal. Initially, there were fears that the leg would need to be amputated, but luckily, aggressive treatment cured the infection. Joey waits patiently for his forever home, healed and ready for his second chance.
He's a really friendly, very nice guy.
After talking to the media, a special one-on-one with us, our chance to get to know this passionate woman and how much she really makes a difference for homeless pets in our country.
I think everybody should come here, even if you know, a lot of times people can't have an animal. Maybe they live in an apartment or they're a student, but you can come here, you can volunteer, you can socialize the cats, you can walk a dog. A lot of people who shouldn't get animals, but some people here, they could come and they could get their animal fix by walking the dogs, and there's a great walking trail out there, and walk the dogs, get their exercise, and it's a great volunteer opportunity.
And our several hundred volunteers definitely agree with that. And I also want to mention that sadly, as we produce the show, Joey the cat is still in our shelter. He's waiting for his forever home. Consider him. Come down and meet him if you are interested in a quiet, affectionate male cat. Stay with us. Coming up right after this short break, you will meet Marco the dog, who came to us with hair so badly matted all over his body and also being blind. But there is a very happy ending to that. Go away. Welcome back. Time now to feature Marco, the Shih Tzu, who came to us a while ago with unbelievably horrible matting all over his little body. He could barely move and he was blind. Our kind-hearted staff members, though, helped him get the ultimate second chance, as you'll now see in this story.
Here's how little Marco looked when he first came to us on September the 11th. One thick mat of a body. Poor little guy could hardly move. Extremely heart-wrenching to see him like this.
It was just horrible. He was just completely covered in mats. You couldn't see his eyes, you couldn't see really anything that would describe him being a dog.
Our groomers wasted no time relieving him of this discomfort, shaving him, all his hair coming off in one big chunk. And also disturbing was finding his nails so long they were starting to grow into the pads of his feet. Once he was shaved, we could get a close look at his eyes, sticking out and clouded at only age 4. Marco was blind, and we have no idea how long he's been that way. For the best quality of life for Marco, his eyes needed to be removed. So our medical team performed that surgery and also neutered him. But more was needed to help Marco before he could be rehomed. Now, with mobility and quite active, Marco needed to learn how to maneuver. In his foster home, he learned how to climb stairs, remember how to get to his food and water dishes, how to play without seeing. Clearly, he was feeling much better.
Nobody's given him a chance his entire life, so I wanted to give him a chance at starting over. So
Marco's dedicated foster mom even found him a home while he was in her care. A family from British Columbia, also with another small dog. That one, 13 years old with impaired vision. During a meet and greet session, the two quickly bonded, clearly meant to be together. Marco went off to his new family on Thursday of this week to start his new life.
It's a lot of work, a lot of hard work, but it's worth it.
We will have updates from Marco's new family when he's all settled, so stay tuned for that in future shows. Okay, now to guide anyone who plans to think of our shelter animals during the holiday season. It's amazing how many people donate so much this time of year. Here's a chat I had recently with our fund development manager, who goes over everything from donating directly to the animals in our care to giving gifts to humans that also benefit our homeless pets. Here it is. Jocelyn, all festive, gearing up for one of our very busiest seasons for fundraising.
You bet, yeah.
And we have something new. Tell me what's new.
Yeah, recognizing that the penny will be going out of circulation here in Canada early in the new year, we are collecting pennies for pets and throughout the end of November and December.
Yeah, because there's a lot of organizations out there asking people to give pennies, but not thinking of animals, and that's why this is so unique.
Yeah, it's a really neat way, I guess, for people to use that spare change. I know that some retailers have already adopted the change and aren't giving you pennies as much, but I know my favorite coffee place is still giving me pennies all the time.
Yeah, and there's so many that are maybe stashed somewhere, old, cookie jars or whatever.
Exactly, all that spare change you have squirreled away, maybe you can come and bring it in for the pets here at the shelter.
And what are we aiming for with this campaign?
We're hoping to get 500,000 pennies or $5,000 for our sick and injured animal fund.
And that's a very, very vital fund.
It is. Any animal that comes into care that needs a little bit extra over and above what we do for all of our animals here, x-rays, surgeries, things related to injuries or illness, all of the funds for that come from that specific fund.
And where do people bring the pennies to go toward that then?
They can bring them right here to our shelter from November 15th through December 31st. We'll be collecting them right here in our adoption gallery in a special container. And alternatively, they can actually drop them off at Global Pet Foods locations on Saturday, November 24th.
Okay, so you have that opportunity if you can't make it out to Northwest Edmonton.
That's right.
So that's really good. Okay. Also, the standard events that are going on, we have Pet Picks with Santa.
Yes, it's always such a fun event. We have Pet Picks locations in different areas through the city, so there's different locations and different times, but we have quite a few dates and times here at our shelter as well, which makes a beautiful setting for those Pet Picks with Santa, and they are so fun.
And then for the times that it's in the shelter here, a lot of people see our traditional big Christmas tree in our adoption gallery. Let's talk about that and how basically adding to that helps the animals here.
Christmas is such a beautiful time of year here. Our tree actually goes up a little bare with no decorations, and we do ask the public to come and help decorate our tree. So we ask a $2 donation for a small ornament or a $50 donation for a larger ornament, and you can write the name of a pet or a loved one on a tag that goes on the ornament and place it on the tree. And by the time the season's done, our tree is just beautiful. So it just shows all of our staff and our volunteers and our animals just how supported we are in the public. It's wonderful.
It is, and not just the tree itself, but around the tree. Every year we just have piles and piles of generosity from people, giving to our wish list.
It's such a fantastic season, and people are so generous, and they really do think of the animals, and we rely on that. We make Christmas morning really special for our animals here with all of those donations that come in ahead of time, so it's great.
And then gift giving. Very quickly, we have our standard calendar, which you have here.
Yes, our Friends for Life calendar for 2013, beautiful couple of cats on the cover. It is a 15-month calendar and makes a great stocking stuffer. It's $10 each, available in Bingo's Pet Shop. So come and visit us and pick up a calendar.
And online giving. So if people just want to not leave their house, do everything online, we make it easy for people.
Sure. I mean, with the snow out there, sometimes you just want to do something quick and easy. We have a site called Positively Perfect Gifts that you can access through our website. And what that is, it's a symbolic gift that you can give to a family member or a loved one. You can give them a number of different items from our the cart and print off a card or email them a card even, letting them know that they've made that you've made a gift thinking of them for the animals. It's great for relatives near and far. With that e-card aspect, you can send it to somebody who's across the world from you.
Yeah, and so many different things that you can choose from too as gifts.
It is. It's got a great range of gifts for the cat lover, for the dog lover, for the person who loves rabbits. There's lots of different options, and all of them go to help the animals.
Wow, so much going on, and helping the animals is the bottom line, isn't it?
It is, and it's busy time here, and we're always just amazed at the generosity that we get throughout the year, but especially at the Christmas season.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Don't go away. Still to come, we head to our shelter store bingos for some other great ideas for the holiday season, which of course help our shelter animals all at the same time. Don't go away.
I am Marion Labrie. I am a level 4 volunteer with dogs here at the Humane Society. I'm also a foster parent. One that has really touched me, his name is Rocky, and this is back in January of 2010, and he was here at the shelter. I got to know him while he was in the back, and he just had such a huge zest for life. He was the happiest boy, and he had an issue with his right hind leg. And it was to the point where he couldn't put any weight on it. So that definitely limited his movement. But when we took him out to the play area in the back, he would run like a mad dog. He was just run and jump and play, and you could see the pure joy that came out of this dog. So right there, I was just attracted to him. And he was here for quite some time because the medical department had decided it was in his best interest to amputate the leg. When they did that, the one thing that I did hear from the medical department was while he was still in recovery, he actually tried to get up. That was the first thing he tried to do was to stand up. So that tells you the spirit, you know, in this dog. When he was back in his ward, the second he heard my voice, that I opened the door and I was walking through the door, and he struggled to get up, and the tail was just wagging like mad. I mean, by this point we had, you know, become really close to each other. When he was put up for adoption finally, I went to see him in his room on the adoption floor, and I gave him a great big hug, and I just told him, I said, I wish it could be me that adopted you. But it can't be, but there is somebody very special out there that's coming to get you. And within a week that happened.
Hi, my name is Serena. I work at the EHS now for about 2 years. I currently work in adoptions. One cat that really particularly touched me while working here at the shelter was a cat named Diesel. One day I was working in adoptions and admitting was really busy, so I went in to help. There were a number of cats sitting in carriers waiting to be signed in. When I immediately went in, all I could smell was some kind of diesel fuel, like petroleum or something. So I looked at the cats, and there was one, obviously was covered. His fur was very dirty. So I signed him in right away. On entry, the medical staff noticed that he was covered in some kind of fuel. He did have burns all over his body. We had to give him multiple baths. I personally gave him like 2 baths, and then we shaved him down to look at the skin. He started to heal right away. We gave him some antibiotics to help him with the burns. So, and then I named him Diesel. His stray hold was up after 4 days, so I named him appropriately Diesel. He was a very friendly cat. I followed him the whole time at the shelter, and it was funny because when he was his time to be adopted, he was chosen by a woman and her child, and I actually did the adoption as well. So I could go through the whole story of when he came in and all the baths he had, and yeah, and he was adopted. I think that was about a year ago, and I often wonder how he's doing. You know, we never hear how they're doing after they leave the shelters. Yeah, he really touched me. So he was such a sweet cat. I almost adopted him, but I already have 4 dogs and 3 cats at my house, so I couldn't take him home. But yeah, he found a good home. Yeah, nonetheless.
Hi, I'm Jessica Grzinski. I've worked as a kennel attendant for 2 months now, and one animal that really touched my heart was Shakina. And she came in with her 3 puppies, and she had mange, so we all referred to her as Mange Mama. That was kind of her name here, but she was really intelligent. She, you know, as soon as she started getting clicker trained, she would sit and shake a paw, and she loved getting her belly rubbed. And to me, she was more of like a war veteran than just a normal shelter dog, just because she had gone through the mange. She had open wounds when she came in. I think it was my 3rd day working here. I actually got to go into the canine hospital and see her for the first time, and she didn't even look scared. She just, you know, she was just very strong, and we all pretty much fell in love with her. And yeah, she went to a good home, and they're really lucky to have her. And it was a happy day at the shelter when she went home.
Hi, my name is Emily Monahan. I'm a registered animal health technician at the Edmonton Humane Society. One animal that really touched my life when she was in shelter was a hedgehog named Felicity. I ended up taking her into my care as a foster parent because she had lost multiple quills on her body due to a guinea pig chewing them off, possibly. She ended up having almost full recovery while in my house. She was just really neat for a hedgehog. I found that most hedgehogs will ball up when I touch them, and they're very fearful when they come into shelter, whereas she was blind and she wasn't afraid of people. So she would crawl on me and she would unroll for me, and she was very inquisitive with the animals that I have at my house, as well as the people that were visiting. It was really nice to watch her grow all of her quills back and be able to go up for an adoption. I was really happy about that. I was told that she went home with a young family that had adopted hedgehogs from us before, so that I know that she'll be taken really good care of.
Welcome back. Every month we check in with our shelter store, Bingo's Pet Shop, to keep you connected and show you the new trendy pet care items. We take you each month directly into the store, and you can hear from our Bingo's expert. She is the store supervisor, Nadine Johnson. Let's check in with all the great new items we have for you this month. Nadine, we are so festive here at Bingo's, aren't we?
Absolutely. Christmas is on its way.
So what do you have for, well, the pets in the family? Because, you know, a lot of pet owners really include their pets at Christmas time.
Absolutely. I've had these guys in the past. They sold extremely well throughout the year, but I love them for Christmas time. But this year they came out with the extra long, so it's not just the 4 feet one. This one is actually 8 feet, and it squeaks even after it punctures, so it's an ongoing toy.
So it'll last a long time.
Yeah, and it's called Invincibles.
Invincibles, squeaky snake toy. Wow. Okay, and for cats out there?
Yeah, we got this, it's called Yow catnip. Lots of people are into these, know about it. It's a really high quality catnip. For even the cats that don't like catnip, love this stuff. And of course, it's a festive candy cane.
All right. And then, yeah, really big too. I could really see a lot of small cats dragging this around pretty big.
That would be hilarious.
People on people's wish list for Christmas, people gifts.
I get lots of requests for coffee mugs, so I got some that actually I found a company that makes puppy and cat ones. They're very cute. They got regular mugs and the travel mug.
And decorations. I know my tree has a bunch of cat decorations, dog decorations. What do you have?
Well, I got some really cute ones this year. This one here says Mewy Christmas. This one here says Happy Holidays. And these guys here actually move around, and it's a little bell.
Okay.
And then this one here you can get for anybody who has a pet, and you can actually put their name, the pet's name on it.
And this is pretty heavy though. You need a bigger tree.
That or yeah, absolutely. It's a very high-end quality ornament.
And it doesn't have to go on a tree too.
No, not at all.
No. Right. And as well with Bingo's, not just these items, we have the standard gifts.
I normally carry, we just haven't got them out yet. They'll be out in a couple weeks. Is where you can just buy the stocking with like the average dog toys or the little cat toys, and the average price are around $10.
Yeah, pre-stuffed already.
Exactly.
Yeah,
for those quick grab things when you don't really want to think about it, you just want to grab and go.
Yeah, and hey, the pets don't care, right?
No,
they
not
don't.
at all.
Nadine, profits from everything sold here. Some people always still say to you, oh, so who's making the money off of this?
Yeah, this is not a privately owned shop. It is an EHS department, and all the profits stay with the animals. Absolutely.
It goes right into shelter operations to care for our animals.
You betcha.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean.
So we are now at the end of our November-December 2012 show, and my, how a half an hour flies. Thank you again so much to Fuse Logic Television for donating their time and labor to bring this show to you, and for Shaw Television for airing our show, giving us that at no cost as well. This is, by the way, the only news magazine show produced by and for an animal shelter. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Keep care, and also keep tabs on us on our Facebook, our Twitter, our YouTube channels, all of our social media sites, and of course our website. Until next time, take care.